Hey everybody, this is Ronald with the Middle School Ministry on the 410 campus. And every day I like to eat food. I don't know about you guys, but eating is an important part of my life. When I wake up in the morning, if I don't eat something, like within that first hour, like I get sick to my stomach. I don't know if that's something wrong with me or if that's your experience too, but I've got friends who can skip breakfast altogether and go all the way until lunch and it doesn't really bother them. I am not that person. I need food. Food's a big deal to me, and if I don't eat food, I tend to get dizzy or, at least I'm not feeling all that great. What's interesting is that as we're talking about spiritual disciplines, there's one that we talk about that comes up that people kind of think is for only the super spiritual. And it's the idea of fasting. Going without something so that you can spend time with God. Now, normally we talk about going without food, fasting. And that's how people are normally practice a spiritual discipline of fasting. They go without food, and then they spend the time that they would be eating or getting ready to eat, like preparing the meal, they spend that time with God. And that's all fasting is just the idea of, hey, instead of eating, I'm going to pray. Or instead of preparing this food, I'm going to prepare my heart. I'm going to read the Bible. Fasting isn't for the super spiritual. In fact, Jesus thought it was for everybody. Check out Matthew 6:16 through 18. Jesus says, and when you fast. Not if you feel like fasting or if you're going to be super spiritual, but he says, and when you fast. He says, don't look gloomy like hypocrites, for they disfigure their faces, that their fasting may be seen by others. Truly, I say to you, they have received their reward. But when you fast, anoint your head, you wash your face, that your fasting may be seen not by others, but by your Father, who's in secret. And your Father who sees you in secret will reward you. Why should we fast? What's the big deal about fasting? Why should we? Well, the first reason is that it uncovers our attachment. I don't know about you, but the first time I ever fasted and intentionally went without food so that I could pray, I realized something. I need food. And it reminded me that I'm really mortal. I kind of think I'm invincible sometimes and can do whatever I need to do to get things done, but the reality is I'm weak and I need food. I'm attached to food. You plan road trips around when you're going to eat. And if you're going to be gone from the house for a long time, what do you think of? All right, I'm going to take my water and I'm going to take a snack. It uncovers our attachment, not just to food, but also to worldly things. It realizes how much we crave other stuff. But if we fast, instead of craving the thing that we're trying to fast from, we're trying to align our hearts and say, no, I need to crave God more than I'm craving this thing. We also fast because it reveals our need. Now, obviously, you need food, right? You can only survive a few days without food and a little less without water. That's why most of the time when people fast, they at least drink, right? Drink clear liquids. But fasting reveals our needs. More specifically, it reveals our needs for Christ. Because when we realize that, hey, when I go without food, I need it. I need it bad. It sustains me. It keeps me alive. And yet that hunger, when I fast, reminds me that I need Jesus even more than I need food. And when I'm praying over a certain thing, I'm telling Jesus, you know what? I actually need to pray about this more than I need food right now. And that's a big deal. It's a gut check. To have a terrible pun in there. Okay, moving on. Fasting also increases your prayer life. The idea of fasting is when you think about this, when you think about, hell, man, I'm hungry. I'd like to eat. Well, that's the moment you pray. Not to take away the temptation to eat food, but in whatever it is you've decided that you need to pray about during your time of fasting. And you're going, you know what? Yeah, I'm hungry right now, but more than I need food, I need to pray about this thing that's on my heart. I need to pray about what's on my mind. And the reality is, fasting brings us closer to God. If we take all the time that we spend eating or worrying about what we're going to eat and instead use that time to pray and read our Bible and journal, well, that's going to bring us closer to God, especially since we're realizing just how mortal we are and remembering God doesn't need food. We need food every 3 to 4 hours, but God doesn't need a thing. Reminds us of how much we're dependent on Him, how much we need Him. And it's a big deal. Fasting brings us closer to God. In fact, fasting shows our need for God. One of the reasons we fast is to show God how much we need Him, but also to show us how much we need God. And we're going to talk about next week how to fast and what it looks like to fast, and even how you can fast not just from food, but maybe other things as well, and what it would look like for you to put that practice into your life. But for right now, this week, think about the idea. Every time you eat, that you need food. And is there something in your life this week that you need more than food? And when you eat, instead of just asking God to bless the food that is before you, maybe think about asking God to do the thing that you need Him to do. To pray and ask that God would help your heart understand what He's doing in your life. And use the time when you eat to remind you that you need God and that you want to grow closer to Him. Hey, my name is Ronald, and I hope that you are enjoying our series on spiritual disciplines. We'll catch up with you guys next week.